Yes, you're welcome into the locker room on the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life Monday morning. And we are getting ready, or we are actually set to get into the sports news and, of course, bring you updates that have been making the rounds over the weekend in the world of sports. Welcome, welcome, welcome along to the ride. My name is Ayokunmi Kekiriako. And, of course, I will not be doing this alone. I never do because the one, the only Tega is joining me on the ride. Good morning to you, Tega.
Good morning. Woo! So today I'm so excited. I'm very excited, and I'm excited for Chelsea fans. So we'll talk about those people. We'll also mourn with those that are mourning. You know how they say, celebrate with those that are celebrating, and mourn with those that are mourning. So we are mourning with Ayo. Ayo, is that why you're wearing a black cap? In my
I
mind,
wear
it's
black.
black. I don't care if
I,
it's say if it's
He's
gray.
gray. He's
It's
gray.
black. It's
He's
black. You wore a
gray.
dull color because you're sad.
Sad
We
girl.
are going
Sad
to
me.
banter you and your club today. Today
Ah,
we will drag you like small generator. All right.
please, please. You're free to.
We are free to. All right. So we'll talk about the EPL. We'll also talk about the US Open is starting today. Have you changed your clock? Night is day, day is night. US Open has started. Okay. So we'll talk about the US Open. We'll also talk about the the F1 Grand Prix. And my goodness, power seems to have changed hands. So
Hmm.
we'll touch on all of that and more inside the locker room. But before we do any touching of anything, Ayo, tell us, how can we be a part of the locker room this morning?
All right. You can join us on the locker room this morning by sending your thoughts in to us on WhatsApp on 0809 444 0981 0809 444 0981. The studio line is 0201 448 981. We're also streaming live on YouTube at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. So you can join us in there as well and drop your comments. We always look forward to hearing from you. All right, let me just clue you into some of the headlines that are making the rounds that we have right here lined up for you. Concerning the Super Eagles job, Anderson confirms talks with the NFF. Norris newfound dominance alarming Red Bull. That's in Formula One. Novak Djokovic eyes slam record in US Open defense as Senna is under a cloud. Madueke nets treble as rampant Chelsea hit Wolves for six. And in the Premier League, Arsenal pass Aston Villa test as Brighton rock Man United. Carlo Ancelotti praises Real substitutes in unconvincing win over Valladolid. It's a 3-0 win now. Come on. And Inter see off Lecce as AC Milan crash at promoted Parma. Not a good start of the season for AC Milan. Bayern Munich defeats Wolfsburg 3-2. Serge Gnabry scores the winner in Vincent Kompany's first Bundesliga uh, game right there. All right, Tega, let's
I'm
start
telling you.
at the beginning. Start right
Let's start
here.
yeah, let's start from Nigeria.
Start from Nigeria. Charity, they say it
Mm.
begins at home. And it's about the Super Eagles job where experienced Swedish coach Jan Anderson has confirmed that he is in talks with the Nigerian Football Federation about the vacant Super Eagles coaching job, but emphasized that nothing has been finalized yet. Qualifiers coming up, and we're still looking for coach. Tega.
Yes, tough one. But the good news is that at least there's a confirmation that there are talks. It's strange again. You have to remember that the FIFA break is coming up literally 10 days time. So it's not like it's far. We have qualifiers. We're struggling. We're not struggling anymore. Now we are drowning. You know, we after no after the first two matches we were struggling. At this point in time, we are drowning, and
Mm,
we need a lifesaver on the boat to sort it out. But the Super Eagles have not. Oh, sorry, the NFF have not selected a coach. Now Anderson is just confirming that they are talks, which means that they're still searching. But
right.
what it required after the drama with with George Finidi was not discussions or conversations. What was required was decisive action. And so, unfortunately, even if they are confirming that their talks and nothing has been agreed yet, which shows that the NFF is working,
Mm,
what it still means is that we don't have coach at the end of the day, and we should have a coach by now. Because it's been a
definitely.
while. It's been a while. So
It
you
has.
embarrass you embarrass Finidi out of a job when you didn't have a replacement. That's not how you do things. So it's tough. And at the end of the day, we'll be expecting that the Super Eagles will perform some sort of magic. But unfortunately, it is what it is. We are less prepared. We have no coach. We have no substantial agreements in place. And so what I'm saying, bottom line is, I'm just updating you now. It's not like I'm trying to give you news. I'm updating you now that the Super Eagles position is still vacant. That's all I'm doing. I'm not breaking news. I'm not giving you new information. I'm just updating you that the Super Eagles position is still vacant and the next window is coming up for the next round of qualifiers.
Right. Just really quickly here, Tega, before we jump into Formula One. I mean, Jan Anderson. I mean, he was Sweden's former manager up until I think November 2023 when he couldn't, and he stepped down when he couldn't qualify them for the European Championships. I mean,
I know you're about to start asking me questions. Okay, you buy what your hand can reach.
uh,
that's the that's
uh,
the that's the you
you
buy
buy what
what your hand can reach. All right. But before we go into the Formula One news, let's talk about what we have from Team Visa. Now, remember the
right.
Paralympics. The Paralympics are here. They're not coming up again. They are here, and we are hopeful to gather our medals. But whilst we are hopeful to gather our medals, let's talk about what Team Visa is doing at the Paralympics. They are elevating athletes' lives. So that's what Team Visa are doing at the Olympics. So um, for this year's Paralympics, they've taken Goodness Nwachukwu. She is part of the Team Visa crew, athletes that have been selected to be supported by Visa to grow and improve their career and perform to the best of their abilities on the world stage. So Goodness Nwachukwu is going to be at the Paralympics, and
Okay.
she's been selected as one of Team Visa's athletes, and that's what we're looking for. They're extremely talented women who have shown a lot of grit and potential to bring it all home. So let's be sure to keep an eye out for all Team Visa athletes at these Paralympics and support them. So we're rooting. So remember, we didn't have anything for the Olympics, but for the Paralympics, we are expecting some medals. So let's keep our eyes out for them and let's support them as we go. Remember, us across social media platforms and in all your conversations to support the Paralympians as they go out to perform to the best of their ability. Also, remember that Visa is also giving away a lot of benefits. So remember the discounts on flights, the discounts on hotel bookings, the discounts on different experiences you can engage in when you get to Europe. Yeah, and the website you can go to check for where you can get all those discounts and all those benefits is visa.com.ng. I'll say it again, visa.com.ng. All right, let's take the next story.
All right, let's take the next story and zoom into Formula One, where Lando Norris said after winning the Dutch Grand Prix that it was pretty stupid to think about winning the World Championship, but his dominant victory on championship leader Max Verstappen's home track certainly has Red Bull worried. Red Bull are shaking. Do they need to be worried, Tega?
They should have been worried when it was time to fire Christian Horner, and they didn't. They're the ones that caused this. Look, they had a winning team, and then news came out of, things about inappropriate behavior. And at the end of the day, that staff that came out with the inappropriate behavior and the emails that they have refused to let anybody release that are very from information we've heard that are very damning. They decided to keep him regardless, and they have now that staff is on suspension without pay since that time till now. So more injustice upon injustice, and that kind of broke the team apart. With their engineer of many years leaving. So of course they're going to struggle. And the struggle was evidenced in yesterday's race. My goodness. Max Verstappen did the best he could. At the start of the race, he started from second position. Lando Norris started from in pole position. As usual,
Okay.
Lando Norris struggled. He stalled a little at the beginning, and Max Verstappen overtook Lando Norris and opened a small gap. He was out of DRS zone. But their struggle started when the car started falling apart. And Lando Norris not only overtook Max Verstappen, but he won yesterday's race by a whole 22.8 seconds.
Wow.
That's what
Wow.
Max Verstappen was using to win races last season, and we knew he was the fastest car on the grid. So it is shocking how far Red Bull have fallen. So yes, they may be saying, "Oh, we always knew we were going to struggle at the Dutch Grand Prix. We always knew that our car wasn't up to scratch." But how did your car go from being the fastest car on the grid to the car that is now struggling with McLaren and sometimes Mercedes for pace? So it's a really tough one, and people say, okay, this is an isolated race, and maybe it could be, but 22.8 seconds behind Lando Norris is something that will give you, and you have to remember that this was the car that was winning races at the start of the season. So
Exactly.
it gives you something to think about, that you know what, there's really something going on at Red Bull. So it's a tough one, but congratulations to Lando Norris. He may be saying that yes, that there is that it's crazy to think about the championship now, but what it means is that between now and Abu Dhabi in December, there are lots of races and there are lots of opportunities to close the gap. So
Mm.
um, I know he wants to temper, he wants to be conservative, but what do you people say these days? He wants to be the mirror. but
If I hear that word
but it
one more
is
time, Tega, I will lose my mind.
at least I used it appropriately. But it is what it is. and he is now, I would say, the fastest car on the grid. 22.8 seconds. My goodness. Yeah, but
That is
it was impressive to see him convert his pole to win. So good for him. But also in the race yesterday, Mercedes made a horrible gamble. They gave up a position thinking that if they changed tires with their faster tires, they'd be able to gain more advantage. And they didn't. They ended up finishing seventh and eighth. So
ouch.
ouch. That's exactly what it is. So it's an interesting one. But they don't have any time to cry over spilled milk, because the next race is literally just next weekend. So it's back to back. So they have no time to cry. They have no time to do anything but to just turn around, pick up the pieces,
Mm.
and see if they can start again.
Pick up the pieces, start again, and of course, look to the future. Let's quickly talk about tennis here before we take a quick breather. Let's talk about the U.S. Open, where Novak Djokovic, fueled by an emotional Olympic triumph, has new Grand Slam records in his sights at the U.S. Open, where title rival Yannick Sinner hopes to shake off a doping controversy. We talked about this one last week, and it was
Oh
just
yes, everybody's
uh,
and they're asking him questions, and he was like, "I didn't do anything wrong." Everybody's like, "If you insist you didn't do anything wrong, you failed that test twice, Uncle. Not only did you fail the test twice, we didn't hear about it until you were cleared, no, and you didn't miss any tournament." So again, even if you claim you didn't do anything right, I think why people are asking him questions is that did you get a little bit of a different treatment from other people that have been in your situation? I think
uh,
that's what most people are saying right now. Let's forget the substance that was found. Did you get a different treatment? Was your case as transparent as it could have been? And
yes
was
or
it
no.
as consistent as it could have been? Yes or no? But he has this one case of a lower ranked player that is also like his, but that guy didn't fail two tests. That guy had one contaminated sample and immediately contested. But then again, he was really ranked lowly. So people didn't look at it. You are the number one ranked player in the world and you failed two tests. And somehow nobody heard about it. There were no suspensions or provisional suspensions, nothing until you were cleared. So yeah, he's going to answer all those questions. But the most important thing he needs to do is answer those questions on court. Period. And then
Definitely.
let's talk about Novak Djokovic coming to the US Open with his gold medal. I kid you not. I'm not playing with you. He came with his gold medal. You can call it for inspiration, you can call it for superstition, but when you're walking around with your gold medal, just to show everybody.
Yes, no. I'm an Olympic gold medalist. If easy, do
Okay, we are here. All right, let's take that quick break. And when we come back, we'll go into football stories.
Yep. Stay with us on the locker room. Smooth 98.1. Back in a bit.
I'm going to rush and go and drink water now.
Good idea.
Like world music, I like R&B, and welcome to the home of the great music. Smooth 98.1.
All right, you're welcome back into the locker room on Smooth 98.1, brought to you by Visa on a Monday morning. My name is Ayokunmi Kekereakon, taking you on a journey into the locker room. Tega is also with me on this ride. And of course, having a great conversation this morning, sports news all the way. We love sports, so it comes easy, comes naturally to us. Join us on the ride on WhatsApp on 0809 440 981, 0809 440 981. That's the WhatsApp number. Also join us on YouTube. We're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, Tega, welcome back into the show. Let's talk about football and of course the EPL. I know everyone is waiting for us to get into this conversation, especially those who are from the blue side of London. And we're beginning right there in in that game against Wolves, where Noni Madueke hit a hat trick as Chelsea crushed Wolves 6 goals to 2 on Sunday to give Enzo Maresca his first Premier League win as the Blues boss and his second win on the bounce. Great one for
Yes.
Chelsea right there.
Yeah, apparently that win against the vet did its job. I think the thing about it, even when you watched when Chelsea lost against Manchester City or lost to Manchester City, was that they weren't embarrassed. They didn't play poorly. The better team in that match just won, and on Sunday it was the same thing. In fact, in the first half, it was both teams trading, goals and trading momentum. Unfortunately, Wolves didn't come out of the locker room in the second half because they looked a completely different team. They were disjointed. They couldn't find each other. It was almost as if they played a brilliant first half, and so their halftime team talk was, "Well done, guys, we've done it." that's
With
that's yeah, that's what the
with
coach must have
45
said to
minutes
them.
left to play.
With 45 minutes left to play, he was like, "Well done, guys, we've done it." Because the Wolves team that came out in the second half was a shockingly disjointed, poorly organized team. And Chelsea just carried on from where they stopped in the second half. Don't get me wrong, Chelsea still gave Wolves the opportunity to look in the whites of their goalkeeper's eyes, but Wolves did not have the game to take advantage of those moments. So I would say the difference was Chelsea played for 90 minutes, Wolves played for 45 minutes. But that was not the big story that came out of the Chelsea match, not the Noni Madueke hat trick, not the Cole Palmer's performance on the day. Those are not the things that came out, not the Yao Felix scoring on his game back for Chelsea. The big news that came out of that was Jackson telling Mikel Obi to shut up because Mikel Obi had criticized him earlier on. So he scores one goal in a match against Wolves, and he's now like, "Yo, Mikel Obi, shut up." Um, and then he said something like, "We are the ones killing ourselves in Africa," almost to say that if I have a bad game because you're from Africa, you shouldn't criticize me. And I'm just like, it's just hogwash. That's nonsense. So there are people that are on the side of the divide. Some people are saying it serves Mikel Obi right for criticizing him. And there are other people that are saying, please, my guy, calm down. If it's a John Terry that criticized you like that, would you have the nerve to tell him to shut up on social media? All right.
And I
So
wonder.
let's hear your thoughts. What's your reaction to Nicholas Jackson not Nicholas Jackson's response to Mikel Obi? The response was good enough to score a goal. But to go further to say he should shut up, that's an extreme. So tell us the numbers to send your messages to are.
Yep, the numbers to send your messages to are 0809 440 981. 0809 440 981. The studio line is 0201 4489981. That's the call line. 0201 4489981. There's a message here already from Adewale, and he
Should we
says,
take that or should we go to the Man U story?
okay, let's take the Man United story and get that out of the way. Yes, we need to get
Yes.
that out of the way because come on. So, anyways, I'm talking about Man United. It was an unfortunate one for them at the Amex Stadium, falling 2-1 to Brighton. There, I mean, not a good day for Man United at all. 5 losses in 6 games against Brighton, against different managers, as it were. But
Yes,
Tega, in my
but same old,
defense,
same old.
I said a 12:30 kickoff is always one kind. So there's that.
And it could have been one kind for Brighton too, because remember, Manchester United had that goal where Zexy or Sexy, whatever you would choose to call him, had the misfortune of being offside and the ball that was already going into goal. I think that for me, that's the problem. The ball was already going into goal and just hit him.
It was
So should that
very unfortunate.
it was very, very unfortunate. So it could have that game honestly could have gone either way. The problem is at the end of the day is the results that determine where you are on the table, not necessarily the performance. So it's a tough one for Manchester United. They didn't play too poorly. You could have said that defensively, especially for the second goal, who was marking? I think it was the most ridiculous thing that after the goal was scored, De Ligt was turning around and saying who was supposed to be marking him, and De Ligt was marking nobody but Greece. There was literally nobody around De Ligt. I know he was not the defender closest to Yao Pedro, but he was not marking anything. He was not marking a human being. He was not marking the ball. He was marking spirits. And then he was looking around, wondering who was supposed to be marking Yao Pedro. And I'm like, dude, the least you can do is show awareness before the goal is scored, not after. So for the second goal especially, there were defensive questions, but overall performance, you'd say, especially when Eric Ten Hag brought in Gamacho, Zexi, the match just opened up. It looked a different one, which now begs the question, why did you start with the lineup you started with if the substitutes were performing better?
That's the question
Those are
every
questions
United fan is
Eric Ten Hag
asking.
has to answer. All right, so let's go back to the responses from the Chelsea question.
Right. Adewale says, other pundits have said something similar to what Mikel said. Some even said, even some of most Chelsea fans, everything Mikel said was true. Just last week, Michael Richards and Jimmy Redknapp said the same after the Man City game. So why hasn't he come for them? Okay, Mikel is an easy target because he's a fellow African. Ridiculous. That's his Adewale sharing his thoughts on that one. Let's see some more messages here. This is Max from Omoli. He says, good games in the EPL over the weekend. I'm chuffed to bits for Chelsea, not a fan, but as a football lover. They were due some reprieve at least, and I'm particularly happy for Madueke. The kid is something special. Bad day at the office for Manchester United. ETH, that's Ten Hag, reminds me of Gareth Southgate. Doesn't know what to do with the good team he has. Liverpool, City, and Arsenal have simply continued from where they left off last season. The phone line is ringing. Let's check who is on the other side. Hello. Ooh, do want to call back 0201 4489981. Tayo, you made it here. Tayo, I said I would block you. So let me just see what you have to say, Tayo. Tayo says NFF is still doing talking stage with coaches. They are definitely not in a serious relationship.
Can we go to Spain before we take some more messages?
All right, let's head over to Spain really quickly and talk about Real Madrid and, of course, Valladolid. Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti said on Sunday that he was happy with their 3-0 win over Valladolid despite his side's unconvincing performance during that La Liga clash.
Yeah, he can say that it was unconvincing. They finished the match by 3-0. Again, Hendrick has scored before Mbappe. If you're if you're Kylian Mbappe now, the pressure is getting. I said it. Look, if you move to a new club and you score a goal in the first match, you can go the next 5 matches and not score a goal. Everybody will forgive you. But if you're Kylian Mbappe and have moved to Real Madrid to be part of a fantastic four that is supposed to be delivering goals per minute, and you have not yet scored. And Hendrick, with his Jericho that came off the bench for a few minutes, has already scored before you. And it was a goal that he kind of created with his movement and scored with his brilliance. Then it puts you under more pressure. But yeah, I understand when he says it's not convincing, because the first 45 minutes, you'd wonder where the Real Madrid of last season was. But
Right.
they came good in the end. Scoring 3 goals, winning convincingly, even if the performance was not convincing. I think he should be okay with that. Also in Spain, Barcelona won their match. Lewandowski delivering on the goods. I think Hansi Flick can give Ancelotti a run for his money. Not because he has a better team, but there's just a way that Hansi Flick is just squeezing out performances from that team. Yeah. But Atletico Madrid were the ones that were very impressive yesterday. And it's sad for Girona. They have a particularly fantastic season last time out. And all they get in return for it is other big clubs that have money and bragging rights buying off their best players.
Sadly, sadly, the way
so
it works in football.
Exactly. So the reward for a great last season is to lose all your good players.
It is absolutely
Right, so let's take those messages.
All right, let's take those messages. Can we squeeze in a call? I think a call is coming. Let's just squeeze in really, really quickly and take the messages.
Let's take that call. Yeah.
Hello, good morning. Dr. Moses, is that you? Right. Quickly, really quickly, Dr. Moses.
Is going to end in tears. Amen. For Chelsea, Richmond for one day. You can expect them to lose next week. Whatever else, I'm trying to support the Adesina, but with this cloud around him, and it just is not my football because the end of the final felt that you have a new period block. But with this crazy thing around him, I just will be looking elsewhere. Good morning, Afina. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Moses, for sharing your thoughts right there. Let's squeeze those messages in as we get ready to head out of the locker room. Okay, I'm still with Tayo's message. Tayo says, my United fans will be like, football is not really important, but I insist Ayo and Co must have a brightened week. Tayo, you're flirting with blockage, Joe.
Tayo, you have been blocked.
McGinn won't forget Ben White in a hurry. Ipswich wanted to challenge landlord. They were not informed. Jackson only thought of Mikel before scoring that goal. He shouldn't go on a goal drop because me and Mikel will be waiting for him. And Hendrick will enjoy good PR for a month with a debut goal. More messages. Let me see. Okay, I think I took this one already. This is AY from Onira. AY says, I just knew that Man United couldn't keep up their winning momentum. The loss against Brighton didn't come as a surprise. What actually did surprise me was Chelsea's 6-2 victory over Wolves, with Jackson finally being useful and Madueke of all people scoring a hat-trick. Emeka says, I'd like to console my Manchester United brothers and tell them to please brighten up, eh? Y'all are playing with me. You're playing with me this morning. There's more fire ahead, though. Liverpool's coming to Old Trafford next week, Sunday. How do you lose 5 out of your last 6 matches against Brighton? This is first-class bullying, Sha. Emeka. It's Monday, so I will let it slide. Mohammed says, Tega, are you part of this cancel culture where an individual is said to make mistakes or is alleged to have committed a crime? He is guilty before proven innocent. Red Bull has found that he has done nothing wrong. You generally should move on, okay? Why haven't you called out Israel like you called out Russia when Israel has killed more innocent women and children? What is the correlation here, Mohammed?
Okay, I think he's talking about Christian Horner. And the thing is that Red Bull deciding to move on doesn't mean that somebody is not guilty. I think the division in camp is pretty obvious, and the reason that they don't want us to see all those emails is pretty obvious. So, Mohammed, please.
All right, Ayodele Ayokunmi says Jackson's reply is just apt. That is telling Mikel Obi to shut up. Just like the comparison you made, wondering if the Senegalese would have had the nerve to tell of someone like John Terry if he had earlier criticized him. It means Mikel Obi didn't work hard enough to be above criticism during his time playing. He was mostly mediocre, in my view. The player you can survive without. Wow, a whole Chelsea club legend. Uh,
Exactly.
Biggie says, "Good morning, Tega. Please, whether it's Nicholas Jackson or Michael Jackson, should shut up and score more goals. Things like this is what makes Chelsea always make their players drink on high spirits, I guess. All this cho from Jackson should prepare himself when they face Arsenal. His body will calm down, Sha. Thanks to the gods of banter for delivering Man United for the week." You know what? And finally, Maya says, "My highlight of the weekend was that last minute winner by Brighton against Man United. I love the fact that Man United fans have watched for the rest of the weekend, but it was all in vain. Arsenal were impressive at Villa, and Chelsea did that thing as well." Let me just see if I can take something from YouTube here as we get out. Ujola Oladili says, "NFF, we don't take things seriously enough. It shouldn't take this long to get a coach. It could be the corruption in between." And AGK says, "As for Formula One fans, we are glad to have some competition going on. The monolithic nature of the sport has taken in recent years was such a drag." And that's all we can
Yes,
take
and
this morning.
just that's what we can take for now. Just to remind you that Victor Osimhen is still looking for um football club. His team won 3-0 yesterday. He wasn't playing. So we pray that just like Nigeria is looking for a coach, they will find all of them will find what they need at the same time. On that note,
Amen.
we thank you for sending in your messages to Smooth 98.1 FM. We thank you for streaming us on YouTube. And we thank you for calling us in the studio today. Till I come your way again on Wednesday, it's bye from me.
All right. Thank you so much, Tega. Have a great Monday. And thank you all for your messages. Keep it tuned to the Smooth Breakfast at 9 o'clock. We'll get talking on Lagos Talks. Smooth 98.1. We love music. We love life.